Well, I think I may have discovered about the cheapest way to build a shower surround for an off-grid cabin here. All right, so basically what I got going, I got FRP panels attached to 1/2-inch plywood. All right, and that's a surround. And basically I bought the tub and shower surround caulk, or adhesive sealant, or whatever the proper terminology is, from the hardware store, and I gobbed that onto this 1/2-inch plywood that's underneath here, and I cut the panel to fit, jammed it up there, and it stuck like almost instantly, and you couldn't hardly move it. So just to be extra safe, after we did that, we jammed in some sheet metal screws that are for like roofing. They got the little rubber washer, and at the top of each panel we put 2. It stuck perfect, and I felt very confident with just that adhesive sealant on there that it would stay stuck and not fall off. But just that extra little insurance while it was drying, I figured them are barely noticeable, and it made me feel better. So they're in there. And then we just used white bathroom silicone, the anti-mold stuff, to seal the corners. All right, and if you're wondering, well, where's the shower? I don't have that part in yet. We got it downstairs, but it's going to be an outdoor shower, so all the pipes will be on the outside of the wall. And I figured just for maintenance wise, or draining, you know, in the winter, it would be easiest. That way, if anything goes wrong, everything's out and open. I don't have to worry about ripping the surround or the wall up. Easy. So that's why we went with that. So I just got to get that installed. To keep the water from coming out, we're just going to put one of them rods that you twist and hang a shower curtain. All right, now down to the bottom here, because this is a little different too. All right, now basically this is plywood and 2x4s. I used 2 2x4x8s, and then I used 3/4 inch plywood, and I made the little pan. Now if you look, you can see I got an angle to it. Gosh, I want to say it was like a 3-degree or a 4-degree angle, which isn't much, but it's enough to keep that water going down to the middle. All right, so after I built the surround with the 2x4s and the plywood, and then I ripped some pieces to do bracing underneath the plywood, so there's no flex in that. That's solid as a rock. You could do jumping jacks in there. All right, so basically I built that, and then I bought fiberglass resin off of Amazon and the cloth, and that totaled about like $70 right there. And I covered the wood with the cloth and the resin, and I let that dry, sanded it a little smooth, and I pumped a hole in it. All right, and I bought a drain. Drain was like $10. And then I had gray enamel paint here from another project I was building. So I painted the thing with the gray enamel paint. And then on top of the paint, what you're seeing, all that blue mess, I make benches out of old log cabin logs, and I dig the rod out and I fill it with epoxy that's tinted with glow in the dark, like a glow in the dark, and that's the color. All right, so I was making some benches, and I had some of that, and I thought, heck, it'd be cool if I drizzled that in there in like a swirl pattern. And man, I did this fancy pattern all through there, looked beautiful. Went out, mowed the clover field, come back in, and it kind of self-leveled, and this is what I got. Definitely not a fancy pattern, but it is kind of cool. Glows in the dark at night. So it is what it is. I'm happy with it. And of course, we just sealed it. We don't have a floor or anything in yet, but we got a good start on this shower. So easily under $200, a person can recreate this shower surround. Which, man, we were looking at shower surrounds buying at the big box store, and man, they get a lot of money for those. So This, you get the personal satisfaction of making it yourself, and you save I don't know, probably 800 bucks. You know, with some of the cheapest ones that we found that we liked. So this is what we got. I just wanted to share it, you know, throw ideas out there in case someone else is doing something similar. All right, I'll show some clips of what this looked like as I was building it. And I guess thanks for watching. All right, what you're looking at here, it's going to be my shower base. I'll keep this short and sweet. Plywood, 3/4 inch, 2x4s, 3-degree angle, pocket holes and glue holding it, two pieces of plywood together, pocket holes and glue holding the plywood to the 2x4s, some support strips just so there'd be no play at all once this thing's sitting on the floor. Not sure if I needed them with the 3/4 inch ply, but they definitely won't hurt. All right, the ends I kind of screwed up a little bit. Should have been a straight 2x4. I should have cut a 3-degree angle on the plywood and butted it up to a 2x4 and used pocket holes like I did on the other parts, but was kind of an afterthought. So basically I ended up cutting 3/4 of an inch out of the 2x4 so I could sandwich that plywood in there. No one will ever see it, but it would have been easier to do it the other way. So now what I did, I roughed this thing up with some thick grit sandpaper. I can't remember if it's 50 grit or 60 grit. That way I'm hoping the fiberglass resin will stick a little better. And my first plan of attack is I'm going to try and seal this up, let this wood suck up some bare resin, and before I add any glass. And that's what I'll do now. I'm going to put a coat of resin on this thing and let her dry. All right, this is what she looks like, all covered in the fiberglass. I roughed it up with some, I think it's 50 grit sandpaper. And then I wiped all the dust off and blew it off with the leaf blower. Now I got some Rust-Oleum enamel, and I'm just going to put a coat of this on, and we'll see how this holds up. Ooh, pretty gray. All right. Not sure how many coats it'll take, but I'll get this painted up. And then my thought is I'm going to drizzle some epoxy on it and kind of a pattern with like the glow-in-the-dark pigment in it. And we'll see how that looks. But I'll get this painted and then we'll get to that. Alright, the moment of truth. See if the drain fits here. It's basically just a nut and a washer and a rubber seal. Yeah, it fits. But before I stick it in, I'm going to paint that plywood I just cut through to help protect it a little bit in case any water does get in. And then I got some silicone. So basically I'll paint this, I'll do a little bead of silicone, and then I'll drop this in and tighten this nut up on the backside. Easy peasy.